I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge chonam la chanjo pardo tani kyabs dage jinso gebes Sanje joda Sanje joda zoge chanam la chanjo pardo tani kyabs Gebe sonam ge dola benjir sanje jobara sho Om ye dharma hetu prabhava Chayo nirodha Mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by Gracia. Okay, let us read 37 Practice of Bodhisattva, page 141, page 141. Okay. This is a very practical aspect of the Bodhicitta practice, and Bodhicitta practice is not just the one direct, the one symbol direct, but it is network of many practices. So we'll say, what is taught there. If you think that I cannot really put this into practice, it's extremely difficult. You don't have to force yourself. Just learn what is taught there, and those things which are very meaningful, apply them. Which you see that's difficult for the time being, don't reject. Don't embrace it right away. Just keep it there. At least, okay, these are things to be done. And finally, as your mind grows in the maturity, then we'll come to see that these practices are extremely, extremely meaningful, particularly when it comes to the practical sense. When you really jump into the Dharma practice, you see that these are aspects to be embraced. Without these, then your Dharma practice may not be too, effectively progressing. With this in mind, let's read the following. By the way, just for information, that the author of this text, Geshe Dorji Sambo, his biography is extremely inspiring. If you know this biography, in fact, my teachers, they always advise us that when you do the practice, and when you do feel that you get a little stuck here and there, you don't seem progressing in your practice, the practice becomes so mechanical, then you advise to read the biographies of the great teachers. And then from there you will get inspiration. And from there you will see what are the areas where you need to work more. For example, this author, the referred to as a Bodhisattva. When he was just about the age 6 or 7, the where he was born, it used to be extremely cold place, and he was born in a nomadic family, and what he had, it was just skin for the cloth. We call it chuba, the fur skin, and in the evening or in the night, he would go out to refresh himself. A little boy coming back, the parents and the family members would see that he was naked. And where is your chuba? And this boy would not utter even a word. Then they would go out to see where he threw the chuba. They would find that the chuba is on a bush. And why the chuba is on the bush? Why this boy kept it on a bush? As they picked it up nice, gently, they would see a spider inside the chuba on the bush. So this little boy was thinking that I'm a huge person, still I feel so cold, and this tiny creature, it does not have any the chuba, so it must be feeling so cold. Then he gave his chuba to the spider. So this is the degree of the compassion demonstrated by some enlightened beings at such a young age. So and later on, of course, he became extremely enlightened great being as the hermit, lifelong hermit, and then came up with all the brilliant commentaries, and he has also commentary on Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So let's read this. These are the practices that we need to learn from. 37 Practices of a Bodhisattva by Geshe Sangpo. Namo Lokeshvaraya. You see that all phenomena neither come nor go. Still you strive solely for the benefit of beings. Supreme Guru and Protector Avalokiteshvara, to you I continually bow with body, speech, and mind. The perfect Buddhas, the source of benefit and happiness, arise from practicing the genuine Dharma, which in turn depends on knowing how to practice. So I will explain the Bodhisattva practices. Now that you have obtained this precious human birth, the great boat so difficult to find, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of samsara, listening, reflecting, and meditating with diligence day and night is the practice of a bodhisattva. Passion towards friends churns like water. Hatred towards enemies burns like a fire. Through the darkness of ignorance, one forgets what he adopt and what he reject. To abandon one's homeland is the practice of a bodhisattva. Giving up inhospitable places, mental afflictions gradually decrease. Virtuous activities naturally increase. When mind becomes clear, conviction in the Dharma is born. Therefore, seeking solitude is the practice of a bodhisattva. Conscientious to let go of this life is the practice of a bodhisattva. When due to friendship with someone, the three poisons increase, degrading the activities of listening, reflecting, and meditating, and to sow loving kindness and compassion. To give up such a friendship is a practice of a bodhisattva. When relying on someone, your negativities diminish, and your positive qualities grow like a waxing moon. To cherish such a spiritual friend is more than your own body, is the practice of a bodhisattva. Themselves captives in the prison of samsara, whom can the worldly gods protect? Therefore, to seek refuge in the true Jod, who do not betray you, is the practice of bodhisattva. The suffering of the lower realms is so difficult to bear, is what the Buddha taught to be the fruit of negative actions. Therefore, even at the cost of your life, never to commit negative actions is the practice of a bodhisattva. Happiness in the three realms is like dew on the blade of grass, is subject to instantaneous fading away. To is a Buddhist. From beginner's time, your mothers have cherished you. If they suffer now, what good is your own happiness? Therefore, in order to liberate an infinite number of sentient beings, cultivating bodhicitta is the practice of bodhisattva. All suffering comes from yearning for your own happiness. The perfect Buddhas are born from the intention to benefit Therefore, to truly exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others is the practice of a bodhisattva. Even if someone driven by excessive desire steals all your wealth or incites someone else to steal it, to dedicate to this person your body, possession, or all your virtues of 3 times is the practice of a bodhisattva. If someone cuts off your head, even when you have not done the slightest wrong, through the power of compassion, to take the misdeeds upon yourself is the practice of a bodhisattva. Should someone slander you and proclaim it 1 billion worlds in return with a loving heart, to proclaim the good qualities is a practice of a bodhisattva. If in the midst of a crowd someone exposes your hidden faults and abuses you, to bow to them with respect, seeing them as a spiritual friend, is the practice of a bodhisattva. If someone whom you cherish as dearly as your own child takes you for an enemy, like to love that person even more is the practice of a bodhisattva. Even when someone who is your equal or inferior, driven by arrogance, seeks to disparage you, to place them on the crown of your head, but the same respect as you would accord your guru is the practice of bodhisattva. Though gripped by acute poverty and constant scorn by others, stricken by terrible illness and possessed by evil spirits, to take upon yourself the negativities and suffering of every being, and never to get it discouraged is the practice of a bodhisattva. Though you may be famous and prominent, someone to whom others bow, though you amass riches like that of the god of wealth, to see that worldly splendors has no essence, and thus to be without arrogance is the practice of a bodhisattva. If you have not pacified the enemy of your own anger, combating outer opponents will only make them multiply. Therefore, with the enemy of loving kindness and compassion, to tame your mind is practice of a bodhisattva. Sensual pleasures are like the soul water. The more you partake of them, the more your craving will increase. Therefore, when something arouses attachment, dependent immediately is the practice of bodhisattva. All appearances are your own mind. The mind itself primordially transcends all mental fabrications. Knowing this and to remain free from apprehending the signs of subject and objects that practice of a bodhisattva. When you encounter objects that please your mind, like rainbows in the summer season, though they seem beautiful, not to view them as real, and to give up attachment to them is the practice of a bodhisattva. All sufferings like the death of a child in a dream. To take such delusive appearances as true, how exhausting. Therefore, whenever you encounter unpleasant circumstances, to see them as in the practice of bodhisattva. If those who aspire willingly give up their bodies, what need is there to mention? Therefore, with no hope of reward or benefit, give it generosity is the practice of a bodhisattva. If lack of discipline prevents you from benefiting others, therefore, to observe discipline with no longing for worldly existence is the practice of a bodhisattva. From a bodhisattva who seeks wealth of virtue, every perpetrator is humble. Therefore, without feeling irritation, to cultivate is the practice of a bodhisattva. If Shravakas and Vedic Buddhas who strive for their benefit alone exert efforts as if to extinguish a fire burning on their heads, to cultivate joyous effort, a wellspring of positive qualities is the practice of a bodhisattva. Especially inside, perfectly endowed with shamatha, complete and conquers all afflictions. Knowing this and cultivating meditative concentration to transcend the formless state is the practice of a bodhisattva. The practice of the first 5 perfections, but without wisdom cannot achieve perfect enlightenment. Equipped with skillful means and cultivating the wisdom of non-conceptualizing the 3 spheres is the practice of a bodhisattva. If you do not analyze your own faults, you might put on the Dhamma facade while behaving in a non-dharmic way. Therefore, to continually analyze your faults and then discarding them is the practice of a bodhisattva. If compelled by your own afflictions, you speak of the faults of other bodhisattvas, you yourself will degenerate. Therefore, never citing the faults of those who have entered the Mahayana path is the practice of a bodhisattva. Desire for gain and services leads to mutual arguments, and activities of listening, reflecting, and meditating decline. Therefore, to relinquish attachment to the households of friends, relatives, and benefactors is the practice of a bodhisattva. Harsh words disturb the minds of others and degenerate a bodhisattva's conduct. Therefore, take care of they are hard to undermine with antidotes. Therefore, with the to forcefully eliminate afflictions such as attachment the moment they arise is the practice of a bodhisattva. In brief, whatever you do, always examine the state of your mind. Continuously working for the welfare of others is the practice of a bodhisattva. To dedicate the matters thus gathered through with a wisdom free of concepts of three spheres, in order to eliminate the suffering of all infinite beings, is the practice of a bodhisattva. By relying on the words of genuine masters, I explain the meaning of the tantras and treatises in the form of these 37 practices of a bodhisattva to benefit those who wish to train on the bodhisattva path. Because my intelligence is less and my learning is meager, I lack linguistic skills to please the scholars. Yet since they are based on sutras and the teachings of the great Jin masters, I believe these practices of a bodhisattva are flawless. Nevertheless, since the vastness of bodhisattva content is difficult to fathom by someone like me with an inferior intellect, I pray to the genuine masters to consider with all my flaws such as contradictions, incoherence, and so forth. By virtue of the matter gathered here, and by the power of conventional ultimate bodhicitta, may all sentient beings become like the benefactor Avalokiteshvara, who dwells neither in the extreme of samsara nor in that of the solitary peace. Okay, I'm sure that you heard the announcement that today we have two classes. One now, 3 to 4:30, and then 1 hour gap with group discussion. Then 5:30 to 6:30, one class. So this is for today. um, from yesterday, what we've realized is that the need for the wisdom of emptiness, the need to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. This is the key. So the next point is the how to wake up, and of course that the things are not always easy. For example, like somebody who's taking care of, say, like the Root Institute here, the director, she has so many responsibilities to take care of every detail of everything. And whereas if you are doing just a very small work, that's a different story. To become a bodhisattva, to follow the bodhisattva path, it's not like, it's very much like being the director of a center, like the leader of the nation, and leader of the nation of all the sentient beings. It is a huge responsibility, because of which you require a lot of skills. So seeking personal liberation, you do not really require skills, because you don't really require much skills, because it's just personal meditation on, say, the three things: motivation, the renunciation, then the wisdom of emptiness, and then single-pointed the practice to stabilize your mind in any object. So these three things combined together, you can say the and then cut yourself from engagement with the world for your personal liberation. Then you can become, say, you can attain nirvana or arhatship. But whereas to become a bodhisattva is not easy. Same, dealing with one family, dealing with your own self. There's so many contradictions within yourself. Okay, should I stay behind and come here at 3 o'clock, right? Stay behind in the temple? Or, oh, they're all going, shall I go with them? There's contradiction there. Look, even within oneself, so much contradiction. Shall I help this person? No, this person is not good. Shall I help? Not help? Contradiction. Then the family, 2, 3 members are there. Then clash of ideas happen. More complications. Then in a community, workplace, where it's not necessarily bound by love and affection, is more complicated. And then the community, you become bigger community, then the country, then the world, then all sentient beings. It becomes very complicated. More the complication, more the skill we require. More the skill we require. So therefore, the point is that following the Bodhisattva path is to benefit all the beings. We need to reach out to all the beings, not just stay yourself and then do your own practice, become the attain nirvana, finish. No, is to really work for all sentient beings, you require a lot of skills. It is because of this that Buddha Shakyamuni compared Shariputra, the one on the right side of the Buddha, who is respected for the enormity of the intelligence among his students, who's the one who is the respected for the one with the greatest of the intelligence amongst the Buddha's followers. And then the verses, a very simple bodhisattva who may not be so intelligent, but with a strong determination to benefit all the beings and struggling to benefit the beings, I have to have the experience of emptiness. So that bodhisattva was so courageous to think of all sentient beings, not think of oneself alone. And the Buddha was comparing these two. Intelligence eventually cultivated by this bodhisattva, although not so intelligent, that intelligence, and then one moment of meditating on the wisdom of emptiness by this bodhisattva versus the Shariputra, whose intelligence directly realized the emptiness, meditated for so many eons. Comparing the two, the Buddha said that one moment of the meditation emptiness by the bodhisattva, who may not be intelligent, that far excels the enormity, however number of the years, ages, the personal liberation seekers like Shravakti, like Shariputra, they practice the wisdom of emptiness. So just the why there is such a gap there. It is like only when you engage in the Bodhisattva path, only when you engage in Bodhisattva path, you just see that there is, say, you from your side, you try your best to engage in Bodhisattva path, then you see that you require a lot of skills, and in meanwhile you're growing so fast. You grow so fast. And just for information, that my personal little experience is not about Bodhisattva path. Say, my personal little experience was that in my school days, which means I was 16, 17, 18, 19, I was so fond of physics and mathematics. After completing, I was thinking of joining physics for the BSc, Bachelor's in the physics honors, and then Master's, and then PhD. This was all what I had in my mind. And of course, my mind changed. And okay, my mind changed, and then I was so keen. Then after joining the monastery, Institute of Buddhist Dialectics in Dharamsala, how many of you know that? Gishimala knows that, and then the Sheripema. Anyone else who knows? Okay, Markla, there are a number of you. Good. So I joined the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, and then after that, I joined the Devun Monastery, my monastery in South India. And there, I was so keen that I should forget my English. What did I say? Huh? I was so keen that I should forget my English, because then people cannot harass me, right? Hey, please come translate this, please come do this, do that, so that I can do my personal practice. One time, incredibly great teacher, a Geshe colleague of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, a great teacher from so these things for you, I'm not sharing these anecdotes to kill time, right? These are very important things for you to know. Then you will get a broad picture of what is a bodhisattva conduct, what is a bodhisattva practice. So it doesn't mean that I am actually, this is a bodhisattva practice that I'm doing. No, this is not. It is nothing. You have to know everything. You have to know everything. For example, like say in both, say the Mahabodhi temple. From there, we got out to the car, and the Nicole, she was without the slippers. I said, "What happened to your slipper?" She said, "It's inside." Right? And you go. And she said, "Okay, so I'll go later. In any way, I'll stay back." This is what she said. And then later on, she came here, and then she was talking about a poor dog with so much of physical pain. And then she was asking how to help this dog. Look, this is what, extremely kind, extremely kind. But when I was there, I wanted to I wanted to forget my English so that nobody can harass me, right? And then later on, I was extremely, extremely fortunate because of my English that I came in contact with this brilliant, incredibly enlightened teacher who was a Geshe colleague of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and who was the common abbot of both the monastery universities. Common abbot, highly, highly, highly respected everybody. And I came in contact with him. And finally, I received teachings from him. He became my teacher. I'm extremely, extremely fortunate. So, while translating, to how connected was that the one of the monks from the other monastery. So we from Damdul-16Nov2023 monastery, another one is Gomo monastery. From the Gomo monastery, there are some monks who I know, and one monk who was 1 or 2 years junior to me came to me. So at that time we did not know each other, and somehow they were tracking for somebody who can speak English, because the one of the sponsors, who was an ardent Dharma practitioner, student of this teacher, great teacher. She must be already in her 60s. And every year she used to come and there would be somebody to translate for her. And that year when I was there, that translator, he was not in the campus anymore. He left somewhere. And they are so desperately looking for a translator. And somehow they came to know about my existence there. Then they made the request. Okay, many long story to cut it short. I reluctantly accepted because I wanted to finish off with my English, forget the English. And now they come, and coming from the highest authority in the whole Damdul monastery, highest authority, and I reluctantly accepted. I cannot say no because it's the highest authority. And I cannot say yes also because that I want to finish off with my English. Then finally I went there. And when I was translating, wow, I'm so, so, so happy to see wow, this is a great teacher. As he teaches, I could see that he's actually meditating as he teaches. Wow. And then I apologized. I made my apology, and then I expressed that I'm very sorry that I was a little reluctant. Now I'll be very happy to serve you in whatever way possible. I accepted, and the teacher glanced at me like this. He just gave a little bit of a gentle smile, and then he continues teaching. In the process, when I was translating, I could not even remember some simple English words. I so well remember the brim of the mug, the brim. Even this word, it was on the verge to be forgotten. I was so happy that and now I don't have to tell lies to anyone. Yes, I forgot my English. Okay. So that was more, I would say that in a way, I'm not too sure. Is that the contradictory with the Bodhisattva's path? Forgetting all these things so that you can do your personal practice. This is something we really need to consider. We need a balance thing. You require support of a teacher, experienced teacher, as to where, for example, one of the teachers in the IBD, Ven Geshe, incredibly great bodhisattva. In fact, 2 times I got a very strong feeling that in this world, if there's a bodhisattva, he's the one. This was what came to me like twice at different times. So what he would advise is that when you are studying, don't engross yourself too much with the outside world. Simply because that I am engaging with so many activities doesn't mean that you have to engage in other activities. You focus on your studies. Wow, that's amazing. And he will say that one day there's going to be a time that you have to take the responsibility that I'm taking now to all the students. So from this, I see that we really need to strike a balance where when you are really in the journey, initial journey, focus more on your personal growth. Once you reach to some extent that your learning, particularly your learning, becomes quite adequate, and then you can contemplate more on your own while not compromising your learning and the meditation. Then you take more responsibility of the Bodhisattva path, engaging with the community, helping each other, supporting, encouraging others, and so forth. This is required. So, the what I'm saying is that the Bodhisattva path is not that easy. Yet it's extremely beautiful. It's extremely beautiful. When you go there, you need a lot of courage. You need a lot of resilience. You need a lot of patience. And all these qualities are required. Whereas if you are seeking personal liberation, we don't need that. We don't need that. For example, the Rijiju, Ri- Riji, Regigi there, a journalist, raise hand, a journalist for very prominent journals. He would write, columnist, journalist, and what he writes is always extremely inspiring to support people, to support the community. So these are the things, in whatever capacity you are equipped with, to the whatever talents you have, use that to promote the harmony, to promote the goodness, to promote the other communities, to promote the downtrodden people. So so this is what to be done. For example, like the Rijiji, this is what has been doing over the years. It's very inspiring, very inspiring. Okay, so having said this, we need to particularly follow the Bodhisattva path. I'm saying this again. This is one thing which I really like to, because I'm seeing with my teachers, all my teachers, and we see that they're all brilliant scholars, incredible brilliant scholars. And of course, this is my personal thing. I'm drawn towards people who are really smart and intelligent. Particularly, say with respect to teachers, I'm really drawn towards such, and I'm very fortunate to have met with all these wonderful teachers, and that they demonstrate their bodhisattva qualities in their own ways. It's amazing. So, with this in mind, we need to know all these different elements of the path. So today, what we're going to do is that we're going to do the four seals of the Buddha's teachings, which we studied yesterday. The four seals we talked about, and also that this morning we briefly touched on this related to our practice of the renunciation. The four seals can be taught in different ways. One in a very simple way, but this doesn't really help us much, particularly when somebody has a capacity to know things technically, to know things in a more sophisticated way. Why not? Why do we have to just stay at the shallow level all the time? So here we're going to do a little bit of technical part as well. So first, all these four seals, they are known as the seals, which we discussed earlier, that if somebody is interested to stop the tears of samsara, to stop all these complications and the pains, anxiety, anguish of samsara, then these are the four things to be practiced. It's not about what religion that you're following. It's not about what gender and what kind of gender you have. It's not about that. It's about your personal freedom from suffering. You have to practice for this form. So for that, you don't have to jump in. Oh yes, I want to stop all my fears, all the pains of my life. So these are things. So no, don't jump. First, learn. Learn means acquire the information, to accept, to reject. Take your time. Don't just, there's a Tibetan expression, don't be like a dog and a meat. If the dog if the dog encounters a meat, what will happen? Dog has no time to contemplate, to eat or not. It just gulps, right? Don't do like that. This is what many people do. Oh, my root guru, I've got this person's root guru, that person's root guru, right? So there is like the fashion for root guru. This is totally wrong. Don't be like a dog encountering with the meat. You're getting it? So later on, you can come with the complications. So later on, you can come with the complications because we have to check. The first, take the information. You don't have to accept. Don't reject. Don't reject. Don't accept. Subject. So you take the information. That is the wisdom drawn through learning. Next, information can be wrong. Information can be correct. Information can be 10% useful, can be 100% useful. We never know. But take the information. That is wisdom drawn through learning. Now, whether to accept or not, that depends on your next level, which is wisdom drawn through reflection. Subject what you've learned to analysis, to inquiry. With the inquiry, you are extremely convinced. Yes, that's very true. Like this little boy who said that the almond inside is white. Right? He was so confident. When that becomes your knowledge, then at that point you can discard or you can accept that you are the best person to decide. Then you can think of the guru, root guru. You're getting it? Then you can think of root guru. Till that point, don't rush to go for root guru. She is my root guru, he is my root guru. This is where all the complications arise, particularly with the modern educated people. There are so much hurry in look for a guru. For example, like say, some people, in fact, I cannot blame you because you meet with somebody who is with the Dharma for the last 2 years, 3 years. How long have you been Dharma? This is the first question. How long have you been Dharma? 2 years. Right? How long have you been Dharma? Just the Bodhicitta retreat in Root Institute. Who's your root guru? I don't know. All right? I don't know. Oh, if you don't have a root guru, you cannot practice Dharma. Right? Then nothing will happen. There's no point. Right? You must have a root guru. Is it? Is it so? Yes. Okay, and who's your root guru? Oh, I have reached this root guru 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Root gurus in the numbers. This is my root guru, this is my root guru, and so forth. You don't have a root guru. You must have a root guru. If you don't have a root guru, then finish. There's no point. It's waste of your time, Dharma, right? Or then you also become root guru hunter. You also go for root guru. Oh, I also need to have a root guru, right? And then you look for who's famous, who's popular. Then later on, you end up in problems. So, if these people who tell who's your root guru, there's a clear indication that person does not know the meaning of root guru. You are getting it? Person does not know the root guru, meaning of the root guru. This is all superficial, the very superficial and surface, very shallow. Does not know the meaning of the root guru, does not know the meaning of the Dharma. You're getting it? In fact, so here, Lama Adishti and a student, Damdul Junen to the second on this side. Damdul Junen, he himself was an incredibly great teacher, and then his student. One day, he was becoming old, and then his student was escorting him to just for a short walk. And Damdul Gyaltsen told his student that I like to take a little bit of rest. And the student, they sat down, and the Damdul Gyaltsen put his head on the student's their lap, and Damdul Gyaltsen, they fell asleep. And Damdul Gyaltsen was surprised to wake up because of the tears dropping down the student's eye on the Damdul Gyaltsen's cheek. And Damdul Gyaltsen asked him, why crying? And the student said that looking at my teacher, I see that you have grown too old. And once you leave the world, who should I turn to? This is my worry. And Damdul Gyaltsen said, don't worry, the scriptures are your teacher. So we don't really have to have, if you really want to have a root guru for the time being, Buddha Shakyamuni is there here. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is there. Why do you have to become a guru hunter? Right? So this is so important. First, know the Dharma so well. Number two, because the guided the Bodhisattva's way of life, Bodhisattva Shantideva gave a big warning that there are so many wrong paths. There are so many wrong teachers. There are so many wrong paths. You can easily get trapped into the wrong paths and wrong teachers. So don't rush. And you cannot, simply on the basis of somebody's recommendation, doesn't mean that you can fit well with that. And we don't know what is the qualification of the other person who recommended somebody to you. So you should be the best judge. How? Learn the Dharma well, number one. Wisdom draw through learning. Then move to the next, wisdom draw through reflection. When you get to this reflection level, then you are the best judge to say, okay, this is good teacher, this is not good teacher, this teacher is suiting for me, this guru is suiting for me, this is not suitable. You can be the best judge. Then you decide. This is how we have to go for the guru. And if ever in the future, I hope that you will not be somebody to ask somebody who's your root guru. Number one. Number two, if you do encounter somebody asking you who's your root guru, just feel compassion towards that person. The person does not know what is dharma. You're getting it? The person does not know what is dharma. So tell him or her that this is how the dharma works. And if you think that without the root guru you will not have dharma practice, you're wrong. You should be the one to give a proper guidance to others. Okay. So with this in mind, to get the proper knowledge, good knowledge, comprehensive knowledge, deep knowledge, that will help you to decide who is going to be your root guru and what is your dharma path. Okay. And there's the Tibetan expression, also expression in the other traditions as well, that if the student is ready, the teacher is always ready for you. So therefore, you don't have to hunt for a guru. You're getting it? If the student is ready, meaning you have the wisdom draw through learning and wisdom draw through reflection, then the teacher will just come to you automatically. This is what the Tibetan sayings, they go. Okay, so your knowledge is so important. So here, don't think that I'm your guru. You're getting, this is so important. Don't think that I'm guru. I'm just a spiritual friend. I'm just a dharma friend, and who's there to just share the knowledge that I learned from my teachers, and I share with you, and you take it, and then in your life, subject them to analysis, try to gain conviction in what you've learned. And once you get conviction, then you feel the joy. You start to feel the joy. But this, then wherever you go, whatever tradition that you go, like Theravada tradition, Chinese tradition, Tibetan tradition, within Tibetan tradition, Sakya, Kagyu, Nyingma, Geru, there's no difference. You just go anywhere. There's no danger that you can go in the wrong direction. So finally, you should grow. Your happiness should grow. Your wisdom should grow. Your compassion should grow. That's the whole purpose. Okay. What is the mind? The four seals. And the Buddha indicated that in Tibetan, it is Tongba Shiva, Kewa Mebe Sul, Mishe Beni Doa Kyamgyuba, Teda Tujingawe Tabzugi Riba Yadagin Zubarze. What is that? This from the Sutra. Sutra means teachings of the Buddha. What is that? Is that emptiness, the peace, and the unborn nature. Failing to see these three qualities, sentient beings cycle in samsara. Sentient beings cycle in samsara. The one endowed with incredibly great compassion. They, through multiple reasonings, establish the beings into this ultimate reality of the emptiness. In other words, to summarize what is being taught in the sutra is that why the sentient beings are suffering in samsara, circling in samsara, is because of failing to see the ultimate reality, failing to have the wisdom of emptiness. And all the Buddhas with great compassion, they try to establish what emptiness is through multiple skillful reasons to drive the beings into this direction of realizing, waking up from the sleep of ignorance. So from this we see that what's the real dharma is not just chanting and so forth, but chanting and these things are important, they're good. We need all these aspects, not just one aspect. We need all these aspects to assist, to enrich, to reinforce the wisdom of emptiness within the mind. So And this morning, they in the Mahabodhi temple in the main shrine, what we said is that the that the this wisdom of emptiness, because it is so profound, the Buddha Shakyamuni, they stayed away, they remained silent for 49 days without giving teachings. And finally, at the request of Indra and the Brahma, the two of the kings of god and goddesses, they descend to make the request to the Buddha, please don't remain silent, please turn the wheel of Dharma. So then the Buddha started to give the teachings. Okay, so the Buddha identified why the Buddha remained silent is because that the wisdom required to 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 cut ourselves from samsara, that wisdom extremely profound, that that hardly that he could see somebody to fathom the depth of this teaching. So because of this, the Buddha remained silent. Then at the request of the two kings of the god and goddesses, the Buddha then started to teach in a very stepwise way. Like if you want to climb the rooftop, so we couldn't jump directly. Instead, we create the steps, staircase to move there. Likewise, Buddha taught the different steps to understand the ultimate reality. So we talked about last time the 5 levels of selflessness. You remember that? What are the 5 levels of selflessness? Is there anybody who likes to share with us? If possible, on your fingertips. If not, then refer to the notes. Raise hands. Raise hands. I'm looking at you. Raise hands. Raise your hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Okay, the girl here, your name? Your name? Your name? Huh? Adriana. Okay, yes. First one. What's the first one? Status of a permanent unitary independent self. Now's the next gentleman there. Second one. Status of autonomous sufficient reality. Number 3, the lady there. Surface of the external reality or externality or yeah, good. And next, number 4, here, your name, Victoria. Victoria, yes. Number 4, status true existence. Yes, Tinshandela, status of true existence while not rejecting. Okay, selflessness of true existence while not rejecting objective slash inherent slash intrinsic reality or existence, right? And in fact, in these, there's no one word. There's no one screw which is redundant or which is the word inadequate. You getting it? All the screws are required. So any word you miss a lot. So selflessness of true existence while not rejecting, that is extremely essential to be added, Victoria. Good. And one else, the last one, raise hands. Last one, Pamela. Yes. Selflessness, objective slash inherent slash intrinsic existence. Good. Thank you. Okay. So if possible, don't just say that I'll do tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow, I'll tomorrow, tomorrow. You're getting it. I'll learn this tomorrow. Don't leave it tomorrow. Leave it for tomorrow. If possible, try to do it this just right now, today. Okay. So with this, to understand emptiness, to get this wisdom, ultimate wisdom, it's not that easy because of which the Buddha taught the 5 levels of the emptiness or the selflessness. And Buddha identified what is root cause of suffering. Hey, raise a hand. Raise a hand. What is root cause of suffering? Root cause of suffering? Self-grasping ignorance. Okay, good. What is the root cause of suffering? Anyone else? What is the root cause of suffering? Raise hands. Raise hands. What's the root cause of suffering? Okay, Sheripema? Huh? Elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. I don't know in what way this word elaboration helps to make it clearer. All right. Okay, good. The gentleman over there. Okay, your name is Chaudhary, and you identify craving as the root cause of suffering. Okay. What caused craving? Chaudhary, what causes craving? What causes craving? Okay, so craving is not root cause, ignorance is root cause, right? Good. Okay, the lady over there, your name? Sumanji, yes. Oh, self cherishing mind. That's interesting. Self cherishing mind or self centered attitude. Okay, how many agree with Sumanji? Self centered attitude is the root of suffering. Anyone? Okay, Jimela, Pamela, Pizola, and your name? The girl here, the lady here? Yes, yes, your name? Yanti. Okay, so Yanti, anyone else? Self cherishing mind is the root of all the suffering. This girl there. Okay, how many don't agree with this response? Don't think that Sumanji will be offended. She will not feel offended, right? She'll be very happy that people who disagree with my thoughts. Raise hands. Okay, Yurila, Chanjubla, your name? Shabin. Shabin, and here, Victoria. Okay, okay. Those who said that I don't agree, why you don't agree? Give me some concrete reasons. Anyone? Give me some concrete reasons to say that I don't agree. Chanjubla. Self-centered attitude. I see. Self-centered attitude is given rise to by self-grasping ignorance. Is what you're saying? Okay. Anyone else? Just give me some technical, the answers, technical meaning. It doesn't mean technical in that sense, in the sense that something which is very solid reason to say that this is not the root of suffering. Anyone raise hands? Pinzole. Okay, so so Pinzole, what you are saying is more like, okay, let's say the spaghetti is not a food because momo is a food. Spaghetti is not a food. Why? Because momo is a food. Momo being a food doesn't mean the spaghetti is not a food, right? Anyone else who does give a concrete reason? Ajadawala? Okay, so say Ajadawala saying that spaghetti is not food because momo is food. You getting it? Okay, anyone else? This is very important. Very important. These are the I'm waiting for the technical answers. Anyone? No one. Okay, over there. The Swamiji, yes. Why self-centered attitude is not the root cause of suffering? Why not? Are you sure? Are you sure? NDC4? NDC4? And MC2. Okay. Gentlemen over there. Okay. Your reasoning is good. Your reasoning good. When I say your reasoning good, I would say your reason is very good. I don't say this, right? You are giving reasons very good. But when I say very good, I didn't say very good. You getting it? Okay, anyone else? Yes. I didn't get the answer. So, in a way, you are saying the self-centered attitude is not the root cause of suffering, because the self-grasping ignorance is the root of suffering. This is what you're saying. It's the same thing what the other said. Spaghetti is not a food because the momo is a food. You getting it? Momo, no doubt, momo is a food. Doesn't mean the spaghetti is not a food, right? Okay. Do you see your answer? Yes. Yes. So why the self-centered is just not the qualities of the object, which will come second level, not the first one. Okay. Okay. What you are saying is that self-centered attitude is not on is not the root, is on the next to the root. Next to the root is not root. Next to the root is the what? Inappropriate attention. So what she thinks is that self-centered attitude is more like the inappropriate attention. You're gonna, if it is correct, then your answer you have actually given thought is brilliant, but it's brilliant. It's not brilliant. Yes, Atiti. Okay, so your answer is more like Yulia, Yuli, huh? Yoni. Yes. So your the Aditi's answer is more like Yoni's answer, right? It is like saying that after getting, even if you get rid of the self-centered attitude, you still have the self-grasping ignorance. You have the self-grasping ignorance. You are not free from suffering. So therefore, self-centered attitude is not the root of self what suffering. Okay. So now what I will say, technically speaking, these are you need to know the technical answers, and then you may not be convinced, but you need to grow to reach to that level of understanding of the answer. Answer is that arhats meaning those beings who already attain nirvana. Arhats, they're already freed from suffering. They have no, the root of suffering is cut, but they still have the self-centered attitude. You getting it? So, if the self-centered attitude is the root of suffering, still the arhats should have the suffering. Others, they don't have suffering. They've already cut the root of suffering. The suffering is gone for the arhats, but they still have the self-centered attitude. You getting it? And what two of them said, Aditi and Yoni, what they said is that when self-centered is gone, self-grasping ignorance is still there. So this why I said that you have given thought to it, but technically it is not correct. Why? Because self-centered attitude will be gone rid of only after getting rid of this self-grasping ignorance. You're getting it? Self-centered attitude will be gone rid of. The seed of self-centered attitude will be gone rid of say the only after getting rid of the self-grasping ignorance, not before that. Never. These are the technical answers. We need to know these technical answers. You getting it? In other words, these are the facts. We have to know the facts. So because that the so therefore we have to gather the facts. So the teachings of the Buddha that you practice, that you share with other people, it should have rich factual basis. You're getting it? So facts we can learn. If you don't learn, it'll never come to us automatically. Okay. So what we said is that root of suffering is not the self-centered attitude, it is self-grasping ignorance. Sumanji? Okay, self-grasping ignorance. Okay, is there anybody who likes to give some water to Ajakasanla? Good. Okay, no problem. So this ignorance being the root of the suffering, ignorance has so many layers. Again, so many layers. Don't think that ignorance is only one. There are so many layers. For example, say the 4 levels of ignorance. 4 levels of ignorance were taught by the Buddha. Of course, the Buddha taught so many levels of ignorance, but one of which is so important, set, is the set of the 4 levels of ignorance. 1. Ignorance misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Ignorance misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. This is a huge problem. And when the impermanence, we think that what is impermanent is permanent, and when the impermanence actually hit us, then we go into shock, and we become so paranoid and shocked, and become hysterical. We cannot digest the impermanence. So this says, because of failing to see impermanent phenomena, the impermanent phenomena as impermanent, instead misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Number 1. Number 2. Misconceiving miseries as happiness. Misconceiving miseries as happiness. Misconceiving miseries as happiness. Number 3. Misconceiving impure things as pure. Misconceiving impure things as pure. Finally, misconceiving a selfless nature as of selfhood. Misconceiving selfless nature as of selfhood. Misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. Misconceiving miseries as happiness. Misconceiving impure things as pure. And misconceiving the selfless nature as of selfhood. Okay, to counteract these 4 levels of ignorance, the Buddha taught the 4 seals. The first, all composite things are impermanent. To get rid of the ignorance, misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, the Buddha taught all composite things are impermanent. Okay, so now look that attending these retreats, and if possible, attending the more systematic studies like Nalanda Master's course, Nalanda Diploma course, and now for those who are really new, who have never joined one of these 2 courses, still we have the option for the Nalanda certificate course. Brochure. Huh? Okay, so our IT staff saying that we have brought the brochures for the Nalanda certificate course. Maybe, huh? Okay, okay. Nalanda certificate course, you can enroll, and there are many other systematic studies. There are systematic courses being offered from different institutions. It doesn't mean that this is the only program. You're getting it? This is a program which I can share with you that this is available, and this is directly taught in English, number 1. Number 2, that in terms of the fees for the monastics is totally, the 100% scholarship. For the students, 75% scholarship. For others, even that is extremely the subsidized, extremely subsidized. Just in some cases, you go and eat food in a good hotel, that one food is good enough for your whole 6 months course. You getting it? This is it's just nothing so nominal, but we deliberately make people to pay for the reason that they don't value otherwise. For them to value, we make them pay, and there's a huge difference there. And while for the monastics, we make them totally free, is because that this is our 6 years of experience. The monastics, and earlier the monastics and the students is same 75% scholarship, but then we see that who drop out more easily. With the monastics, they are very consistent. The students, they drop off so easily when the scholarship is very high. So for the monastics, we see that they're very serious. So we give it 100% scholarship. For the students, still 75. And of course, then what is 25? It may you may drink a cup of tea. A cup of tea from a good hotel. That is good enough for your whole 6 months course for the students. Okay. Okay, with this, these systematic studies, the benefit is that you will know the technicalities, technical aspects, and then you know where your thoughts will become something so solidified, so something so concrete and well articulated. Otherwise, finally, all these should be, whatever you learn, you should be able to apply this in meditation. The clarity should be there in your mind. The clarity doesn't come if you don't know the technicalities. For example, like say, let's say that for the dental, right, for your teeth, right, I may talk a little bit about it, but it's so rough or so coarse. But with the Dr. Inzila, right, Dr. Inzile, he has all the details, right, the details. Oh, this is molar, incisor, premolar, and the fourth molar, and so forth. All the details are there, because of which for him to think about the teeth, right, your problem, he can easily figure out things so well in his mind. Likewise, the engineers, right, raise a hand. Engineers, very bright engineers, and I learned about her brilliant skills. I was so fascinated to see some of her skills. Wow. Okay, that she designed houses, beautiful, it's amazing. You just see what she designed, and the regular houses is very different, right? So you don't think that it is in her locality. It's beautiful, it's amazing. So with designing, that for us, say for example, say, I don't know what should be good design, but I don't know what I know what is a bad design, right? And if you tell me this is bad, right, then what's the option? I don't know. Right? So we have to bring this chukil, this kunchola, right? Kunchola, then she'll give the option. I will say this is wrong, but if you ask me how, I don't answer, and she will fix it. So what I'm saying is that is the clarity. Likewise for meditation, the Buddha was meditating on the Bodhi tree with such a clarity there. So this clarity will come to us only if you know the technicalities. You're getting it? Okay. So with this, one time we invited the one person to speak on a particular topic, and that the person is a naturally gifted with intelligence, and then he has a personal passion in this particular topic. So because of that, I simply don't want to, I simply want to make him feel that the worth of his passion. So I gave him the opportunity to speak. I gave him platform from Tibet House, and he gave the talk, and there's one great expert there. One great expert there, who also came because it's Tibet's program. So he came, and at the end of the talk, this expert came to me and said that this speaker is not at all expert speaker on this topic, right? Well, I fully understand it, because the experts know, you're getting it? So therefore, our knowledge of Dharma, meditation, emptiness, don't make it like an amateur experience of the emptiness. You're getting it? Make it very technical and so crystal clear. For that, we need to know the technicalities. Because of which, all composite things are impermanent. Buddha did not teach everything is impermanent. You're getting it? Many people say that, oh, in Buddhism, everything is impermanent. This is not true. The Buddha taught only composite things impermanent. You're getting it? Okay. And then Buddha taught all contaminated things are suffering nature. Buddha did not say everything is suffering nature. You're getting it? Many people, knowingly or unknowingly, most likely unknowingly, think that the Buddha taught everything is suffering. In Buddhism, everything is suffering. So therefore, many people describe Buddhism as a self-denial religion. That everything is suffering, no hope now, right? This is a total naivety of the individuals. In future, if you do encounter with the people who say that in Buddhism everything is impermanent or everything is suffering, you have to know that the person does not know the Buddhist concept so well. It's total naivety of the individual. Even some of the books meaning most of the people take the books as very serious. Even the books, all these misconceptions are jotted down. Simply because it's a book doesn't mean that there's a good books. For example, some scholars, professors come to my office, Tibet house. They they bring like 20, 30, 40 copies of their own books. Geshe, please distribute this book, distribute to your students. First, I browse through the book, and most of the books that come to my table for for distribution, there are many factual errors. What should I do now? Should I distribute or not? If distributed in a way, and I'm encouraging people to go for the wrong information. There's no factual support there. There's no factual basis there. If I don't distribute, then the authors who brought all this book here, they feel offended. And some of the authors, they're so particular. They come after 2 months, right? And expecting that the books are distributed or still lying on his table, right? What do you do? Books doesn't mean that they are factually based. There can be many factual errors there. And in some professors, they do not have any proper training in Buddhist philosophy. And they read philosophy books and they teach Buddhist philosophy to the students in the universities. And then they teach wrong information, and the students get the wrong information, and then they start writing books also. And they ask me, please, Geshe, write a foreword to my book. In the forward, should I write? There's so many factual errors there. Should I write this? What should I do? This is a problem. You're getting it? Simply because it's a book on Buddhism doesn't mean that it is factually correct. Don't forget it. Okay. So what I'm saying is that all composite things are impermanent. Not everything is impermanent in Buddhism. Don't forget it. All composite things are impermanent. One, what does it mean by composite? Okay. In a way, this is a beautiful group. There are many who are seniors, and they're seniors in their learning. So I would suggest that the particular seniors from NMC2, NMC1, and particularly NMC1, NDC1, 2, 3, and NMC2 also, the NDC4. So please try to help the newcomers. These concepts which you already learned, what is a composite phenomena, what is a non-composite phenomena, you have to help them. You're getting it? Help them, but don't be too overly enthusiastic. Hey, listen, I'll teach you what is composite phenomena. Don't do like this. Just listen what they have to ask. If they ask you, oh, Geshe said there is composite phenomena, non-composite phenomena. What is non-composite phenomena? Then you try to explain. Don't give lectures, right? So just to make it short, that nobody's bored, nobody feels left out, nobody feels bored. That is so important. So all composite phenomena. What is composite? Things which are composed of directional paths or temporal paths. Things which are composed of directional paths or temporal paths. What do you mean by directional paths? What do you mean by temporal paths? Directional paths meaning, let's say this singing ball. So it has 4 directions: east, west, north, south. Okay, east, west. What is that? North, south. No, north, south. East, west, north, south, and then top, bottom. So there's the 4 directions, and the 2 top, down, 9. There's the 6. So this has directional paths. The path to the east, left, the west, north, south, top, bottom. So we see that there are 6 paths, minimum 6 paths to this. These are known as the directional paths. So all the physical things have directional paths. All physical things have directional paths. Any question? P-A-R-T-S, parts. All physical things have directional parts. Right? By the way, you're from which country? Australia. Okay. Anyone from America? Okay. Mark Lam is parts. Directional parts. Okay. Thank you, Mark Lam. How would you say it? Directional? Directional parts. Okay. Directional parts. Here. Parts. Okay. Thank you. So I say the physical things like the house, your body, the food, the flowers, and so forth, they have directional parts. PRTS. And whereas non-physical things like mind, which is purely non-physical, they don't have directional parts. They have temporal parts. What do you mean by temporal parts? Temporal meaning time, parts in time. How do you understand the parts in time? For example, let's say that my mind is happy today. We are so fortunate that we went there on the Bodhi tree, we took the Bodhisattva vow. My mind is so much at ease today. My mind which is non-physical, but you could feel it. So this non-physical mind does not have the directional paths. It does not have directions, but it exists in time. So for example, your mind today is made of how many hours? 24 hours. So your first moment of the first hour mind, second hour mind, third hour mind, fourth hour mind. This is known as the divisions or the parts in time. You're getting it? Time. So in short, what we can say is that all composite phenomena should necessarily have temporal parts, but all composite phenomena may not have a directional parts. You're getting it? Be it physical or non-physical, both have temporal parts, but only the physical has directional paths, not the directional paths as additional. And the mental or the non-physical do not have the directional paths. Okay, yes. Okay, good question. Say, you said that today my mind is very happy. Today meaning the mind which exists in 24 hours is very happy. So 24 hours mind meaning the first hour mind, second hour mind, third hour mind, fourth hour mind. So there are different segments. And the first hour mind means it has 60 minutes. First minute mind, second minute mind, third minute mind, so forth. And first minute mind again has 60 seconds. First second mind, second mind, third second mind, so forth. And first second mind has again 1000 milliseconds. First millisecond mind, second millisecond. You keep dividing like this. This is how our minds are made of temporal parts. Good? Good. So the only the composite phenomena have the nature of impermanence. Not all phenomena. The Buddha do not say all phenomena impermanent. You getting it? Okay. But I'd like to also warn you that if you do come across some extremely standard books where there's a mention of everything is impermanent, right? We should know the context. For example, say in Heart Sutra, which we read every morning, it says form is empty. You getting it? It doesn't mean the form doesn't exist. It should be understood in a particular context. Form is empty of objective existence. You getting it? You have to know the context in which that is explained. Okay, so the point is that the all composite things are impermanent. From this, we have to know that only composite phenomena. It implies that there's a non-composite phenomena. What is a non-composite phenomena? You're getting it? What are the things which fall under the category of the non-composite phenomena? This is the thing that we need to learn. And for the time being, I may not explain this, but for example, okay, anybody, quick. What examples do you have for the non-composite phenomena? Quick. Raise hands. Non-composite phenomena. Dharmadhatu. Okay, Dr. La. Space, particles, non-composite. Okay, very good. Particles. Anyone else? What is non-composite phenomena? Anyone? Energy is a non-composite phenomena. Are you sure? Not sure. Okay, if you're not sure, just qualify that. I'm not sure, right? Because I will not say wrong, right? Okay. Anyone else? Non-composite phenomena. Okay, yes, Yurila. Absence of elephant. Absence of elephant in this house. Wow, that's amazing. Absence of elephant in this house. This is amazing. Okay. So next question is how are, for example, say the absence of elephant in this house is a beautiful example. Space, non-composite space. Dhamadadu. Okay, Dhamadadu, we can understand only the absence. If you understand what's the absence, then Dhamadadu can be understood. Anyone else? Okay, so how are these non-composite phenomena? This next question. You getting it? So during the group discussion, I encourage you to discuss these, particularly those people who are from the. So we have Gishima here, Gishima, and then the other seniors. Please help them, help the newcomers. You getting it? And then if you really, if you're not too happy with answers that you get, bring them on the table, on my table. Okay, good. All composite phenomena are impermanent. So impermanent is of two kinds: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Two. We have to know these technicalities, technical answers. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. What is gross impermanence? Gross impermanence are those impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. Gross impermanence are those impermanent phenomena whose continuum terminates. Whose continuum terminates. For example, like our youth. Each one of us, 10 years ago, we were way younger than who we are today. Even this little boy. When did I meet you? How old were you when I first met you? 2016. How many years ago now? Huh? 7 years. Okay. So he was 7 years younger when I first met him. You getting it? So likewise, each one of us, we were 7 years younger when I first met him. You realize? You feel sad? 7 years older now? Right? Okay. Okay. So this is reality. Impermanent phenomenon. Your youth, our youth terminates. Likewise, our joys terminate. Likewise, our birthday, the birthday celebration, New Year celebration, and so forth, they terminate. And for some near and dear ones, the loss of near and dear ones, extremely painful, the continuum of that person terminates. These are the examples of gross impermanence. And the Buddha taught, whatever gathers will disperse, will end in dispersion. What is the English word? Dispersion? Dispersal. Whatever is accumulated exhausts. Whatever stands falls. Whatever is born dies. These are the examples of gross impermanence. So it's so important for us to reflect on this gross impermanence. If the more we reflect on gross impermanence, more realistic we become. The less agitated we become in terms of life. We see that this is impermanent, and because of this, the expectations, craving, anger, they will tone down. And particularly by thinking about impermanence in your family, for example, like say children and the parents. So sometimes the children unnecessarily create problem with the parents, fight with the parents, shout at the parents, and not at all thinking about the impermanence of the parents, of yourself. And then when the parents left the world, then they regret. How I wish that my mom is with us for another 1 year, another 5 years. If not 5 years, 1 year. If not 1 year, 1 month. If not 1 month, 1 day extra. If not 1 day, even 1 hour is also wonderful. Finish. Too late. Not reflect on impermanence. When you're together, you don't know how to cherish these beautiful moments. You just keep shouting, feeling just unhappy, showing restlessness and dissatisfaction and so forth. And then when the person leaves, then you regret. This is too late. This is all childish action. So while you're together, just enjoy this moment, beautiful moment together. I'm so lucky to be with you, mom, to be with you, dad. How fortunate I am. For example, look at many people in Ukraine, or likewise in Russia, in Israel, in Gaza Strip. How many people lost their parents? How many children lost their parents? So painful. Now they don't have somebody to call as my mom, my dad. Finish. But many of us, we are already in your 20s, 30s, 40s. Still, you have somebody to call as my dad, my mom. And yet you don't cherish this. We don't value this. We don't value this because of not contemplating on impermanent nature. That impermanence, anytime the person can leave. For example, in my life, even just nowadays, every now and then, I constantly hear about the loss of, say, people they relate to my friends, related to this, that, and so forth. This is what I can constantly hear, and it's so quick. And then you regret. You regret. Too late. Whereas if you contemplate on impermanence, anytime this very sad moment will come, then you will cherish the moments together. This is so important. All compositing is impermanent. This is the gross impermanence. Subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence is the momentariness involved with all the composite phenomena. Momentariness involved, or the momentariness nature of all composite phenomena is known as a subtle impermanence. For example, anything like your body, of course, your body falls under the category of the gross impermanence, but it has the subtle impermanence. It has subtle impermanence. I have hands, I'm not hands. Likewise, gross impermanence has subtle impermanence. It is not subtle impermanent. You're getting it? It has subtle impermanence. So these distinctions you can make only if you study the technicalities. Gross impermanence. All composite phenomena should necessarily have subtle impermanence as its quality. Okay, we'll stop here for a short break. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhiswaha. Okay, we'll come back at 5:30 for the next class. 3 prostrations together.